All right. Well, I'm Dale with Realvolve, calling you in today from Denver, Colorado, in the Denver Tech Center here. Where are you guys joining from today? Who are you and where are you joining me from? So we invited a small group from the National Association of Realtors to join us for this webinar today. Wow, Buenos Aires. Well, bienvenidos. Let's see. Susan, where are you calling from, Susan? Tennessee, Minneapolis, Dallas, Texas, Appleton, Wisconsin, Indiana. Hello, Laura. Santa Monica, North Carolina, Houston, San Jose, California, my hometown. New York. Let's see, Melbourne, Florida, Pennsylvania, St. Louis, Jennifer from Lake County, California, Florida, Lindsay from Florida, hello, Charlotte, North Carolina, Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So today I'm going to be talking about the new rules of automation for real estate teams. Now, this can be a very confusing subject. So even people that are experts in real estate struggle with this. And I've had the benefit of talking with real estate agents about technology for over 10 years now. And there's a lot of technology out there, and it's a hard thing to master. It's a difficult thing to master, joining all of your technology together to make it work for your team and really work for you. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Not just automation for automation's sake, but how do we make sure that our automation is actually saving you time in a way that is tangible to you, that you can feel, that you can see, that you can understand the impact, et cetera, et cetera. Susan says she's not getting any audio. It looks like my microphone's working, Susan, so it might be on your end. Let's see. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is a challenge that a lot of people have. Is sometimes it feels like we're just surviving, trying to grow, trying to scale, and that's an idea that I'm also going to be talking a little bit about today, and then how to succeed without burning out. And Jennifer, this is not just for teams, this is also for real estate agents, and that's going to become a much more clear as I get through the presentation. Because what I want you to think is, I want you to think like a team, even if you're not a team. And again, that'll be clear by the time I get to the end. It's really important that all your bases are covered. And I am a huge fan of the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And it talks about how entrepreneurs need to identify what they're doing and segment it by role. So you have the accountant side of the business, you have the marketing side, the sales side, the customer service side. And if we want great technology and great automation in our business, we need to understand how all of our tasks fit in to those various roles. Because what we want to do is get to a place where our technology is enabling us as the individual on the team or us as the team leader to be able to focus on money-making activities. Primarily, we want to automate and delegate everything else. And so rather than just thinking about surviving, I want to teach you a new framework. And this is automate, delegate, scale. So if we can figure out how to automate the things that we shouldn't be doing every day, make it easier, make it smoother, delegate the things that we should never do, and then scale our business up and basically scale ourselves. We're replicating ourselves so that we can go to the next level, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's working less, maybe it's getting busier and doing more deals, maybe it's getting more profitable, whatever that means for you, that's what I want to talk about today. So we're going to be calling you after this webinar. So we asked you to put your phone number in because we want to have a conversation with you. So if you want us to leave you alone, just answer and tell us, yeah, I'm not interested right now. We're going to respect your time and your privacy and all of that kind of stuff. But we do want to talk to you. So we're going to send you some emails and we're going to call you. If you're not interested, just reply. We're going to try to be respectful as well, but we're also pretty assertive. We know that we have something of value to share and we want to get in touch with you. And if you answer our call, we're going to share our secret weapon for real estate team accountability. So we put together a little short video and it's a game changer for you if you're trying to increase either your accountability to yourself or accountability to the team, or the team's accountability to you. So I have a little framework that we shot in a video, and I'll make sure to share that. So little quick, very quick little bio about me. I started my career as a mortgage loan officer. I was working for a guy that was trying to go multi-state. This was before the 2008 crash. So this was in the early 2000s, actually, like 2000, 2001. And he was trying to go multi-state and was getting licensed everywhere. We were a broker bank, and I was brokering deals. I was doing deals that we were underwriting in-house, and I was just learning the ropes of how to be a business person and how to be a salesperson professionally. And pretty quickly, I learned that I was really good at sales. I started reading every sales book, every marketing book I could get my hands on. Went to all the seminars I could go to, the Tony Robbins. My favorite was Tom Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Selling. I followed him around, read his book. I've met him several times. I've had him in my car. I've driven him places before. And I was just soaking up everything. But I also learned that I was really good at the technology and automation side. And so my company very quickly put me to work building websites to generate leads and lead follow-up processes and all of that kind of stuff. And so I became the marketing guy and the technology guy. And I did that in my career for about 10 years. And then I got back into sales just because I absolutely love sales. And now for the last 10 years, I've been doing technology for real estate. So I've had this winding road in my career, started with mortgage in technology, and now I'm back in real estate and technology. And I absolutely love the real estate industry, and I love helping people understand technology better and getting it to work for them in their business. So I love to scale businesses. This Realvolve is my third Inc. 500 company in a row that I've worked for. And fun fact, I'm a proud tractor owner. I got a little property here in Colorado, and I love to work the land. I like to cut down the trees. I've got 2 big greenhouses and a giant garden, and that's what I do pretty much every weekend. So I mentioned, Inc. 500 company. We actually hit the Inc. 500 list twice now here at Realvolve, in 2019 and in 2021 now. We're on the Inc. 500 list again. So we are growing very quickly. People are realizing that they need technology and they need automation if they really want to go to the next level. So let me talk about baseline automation because this is the way I look at it. There's a ton of CRMs, right? Customer relationship management databases, CRM tools out there. I'm not going to name any names, but pretty easy to find competitors. You're probably using one right now. A lot of you are probably using Realvolve. But a CRM, that's the most crucial thing, other than your MLS. The most crucial technology that you should have in your business, set up, working properly, and understand how to use it is a CRM. To me, it's like a set of wrenches for a plumber. It is a core part of your tool set that you should be familiar with. And pretty much every CRM out there has what I call the top 2 Ds. So Realvolve is built on a 4D automation framework. And the top 2 Ds are time delays and specific dates. That means I can schedule an email or a task or a reminder based on a time delay. I can say, remind me in 3 days. Or I can say, I want to send an email out today and one in 3 days delay and another week delay and so on and so forth. Or I can say, I want to be reminded next Thursday to do this thing, or I want to be reminded on Christmas, or I want to send this email on Christmas. So time delays, specific dates, pretty much everybody has those covered. Here's the secret weapon for Realvolve, which I'm going to get into in a little bit, is we factor in decision points and dones. And that means I can mix and match now all of these things in my business to schedule out some really powerful automation, and we call them workflows. But that could be a campaign, it can be a task list, it can be a project plan, it can be a client appreciation event where there's tasks that are automated and you're reminded to do certain things. Emails are going out to your clients, etc. It's an amazing piece of technology, and it can be a game changer when you get it set up in your business. So again, I just wanted to set the stage a little bit. I'll go into this more later and it'll make a lot more sense. So we've done a lot of things right. And I mean me personally and Realvolve, the company. We've struggled through hard times. I've struggled through hard times in my career, and we've overcome things. And we've always focused on trying to automate as much as we can in our own business so that we can spend more time dealing with people. And that's been a game changer for us. Focusing on individuals, focusing on people is certainly the right way to do it. But we've also done a lot of things wrong. And there's various people in the founding team here at Realvolve that would share stories about when they were in real estate. And I can share stories about when I was a mortgage loan officer and how I generated leads and how I've thought about leads and lead conversion. And a lot of us focus our whole entire business and all of our energy on getting more deals and getting more leads. So much so that we neglect our clients a little bit. And that is the cardinal sin in real estate. We've all done it. A lot of us continue to do it. We know that we're doing it. We just don't know how to get out of this cycle. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about today is how can we focus not just on leads, but on leads, our current clients and our past clients, so that we're starting to build up this big snowball. And we call it the flywheel effect. It takes a lot of energy to get this big giant wheel spinning. But once you get it spinning, it can carry momentum. It can carry and store energy, and it can help drive you forward and drive your team forward. And so that's another core principle that I'm going to be talking about today. So really quickly, I'm going to breeze through this, but there's the hard way. This is kind of the way most agents do things. And it's okay. I'm not trying to accuse anybody. These are the traps that we all are tempted to fall into at times. So a lot of us rely on leads too much. So most agents rely on a large flow of internet leads without enough attention on conversion and on past client follow-up. Customer experience, most agents do the bare minimum and forget the peak end rule. That means that the thing that people remember the most about the experience with you, their experience with you, is the peak emotional moment within that interaction and the end of the interaction. So there might be a very stressful time. There might be a really exciting time that is this pinnacle emotional moment in a transaction or in a home sale or a home purchase. And it could be the worst, most stressful time that they remember, or the best, most exciting time, like an offer was accepted after they made 20 offers. And then the very end, they remember what happened at the end, and they remember what happened right after the end. Plan as you go. So rather than following a hardened plan, most agents come up with their next tasks based on what's urgent. Now, think about this real quick. There is built-in accountability when you are working a transaction or a listing. The customer, the client, is going to hold you accountable to showing up to meetings on time, to communicating with them. And if you just go dark, they're going to come knocking. They're going to call you, text you, email you. They're going to try to get a hold of you. So that accountability is kind of built in. The accountability is not really built in when it comes to leads and past clients. If you're not calling your clients every quarter or sending them a gift every year or doing a client appreciation event, your clients aren't going to be calling you saying, "Why haven't you called me?" They might call you and say, "Hey, I have a question about real estate." If they do, fantastic. You have a good relationship with them. But in the lead follow-up process, if you get a lead and you don't call them, that lead's not going to call you and say, "Why didn't you call me?" So there's built-in accountability in the transaction, and the lead follow-up and the past client follow-up, there's no built-in accountability. You have to artificially create it. So number 4, stay in react mode rather than anticipating growth. Building for growth, getting ready to be prepared for that growth, and having your systems and your traditions and your disciplines set up for growth. Most agents wait until it's too late, and then we're scrambling to keep up with it. Number 5, aware, know, like, and trust. People buy again and again from people that they trust. And then 6, not prioritizing relationships. So traditional long tail business principles apply. They do apply, which is that a lot of us are understanding that you need a healthy repeat and referral business. I don't care if you're a restaurant, if you're a real estate agent, if you are Uber, you need to get people coming back and back over and over again to you. Pizza businesses understand this really well. That's why they send out coupons. It's called a bounce back. So our beliefs are a little bit different. So we believe in hustle versus burnout. So we know that hard work is essential. But if you fetishize overwork, it's unhealthy and dangerous. Can't tell you how many times I've seen people answering the phone wearing their busyness like a badge of honor. And I don't think that's the right way to do it. And I know a lot of you are going to agree with me on this one. We should set boundaries and goals for ourselves about how long we're going to work. And we should set up our business so that it's working for us, that it creates a lifestyle for us, rather than building our lifestyle around the business. The whole reason why a lot of us get into real estate and businesses like this is so that we can have the freedom. And so we have to consciously and proactively build that into our business. So linchpin versus bottleneck. The more your business relies on you, the less valuable it is to you and anyone else looking to take it over someday. So think about that. The more your business relies on you, the less valuable it is to you. A business that doesn't rely on you every minute of every day is way more valuable to you because you'll have more freedom. Leads versus conversion. Leads are easy to generate and buy. Converting them takes systems and discipline. And then owning versus renting techs. All teams, all agents should adopt reliable software that they own and take with them wherever they prefer to do business. So there's a trap that a lot of people fall into, a lot of real estate agents and teams fall into, which is this is free or this is cheap. And so I'm going to start using this thing over here because it's free or cheap, rather than this is the best thing for me and I'm going to invest in this. I'm going to build into this. I'm going to rely on this technology. And if I change teams, if I change brokerages, if I change brands, whatever I want to do, I take this with me because this is mine. This is not somebody else's that they're paying for. This is mine over here. And there's so much more to it than that, but I don't want to go too deep into why that is a big sin that a lot of us, a big trap that a lot of us fall into. So now this, usually I tell a longer version of this story. I'm going to tell you the short version right now. Growing up in the 80s, my dad was a computer programmer. And so when I was growing up in the 80s, my dad would take me down to the office sometimes on Saturday. He ran an engineering team. They didn't call them engineers back then, but he ran some software programmers. And they worked for a company that built custom databases and custom machine setups with servers for clients all around the country. And so he would fly around the country and code these programs for people. Essentially, it was maybe 5% as powerful as Excel or Google Sheets is today, but they were having to hand code this stuff. And a lot of times it was inventory tracking systems and things like that, point of sale systems for businesses. And they would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and travel costs and training time to get these systems installed. And it would look something like this. So it was a mainframe with a little terminal that sat on top, and you could plug in a part number and it would tell you how many you had in inventory and how many you had in stock. That was pretty much the extent of the functionality there. And people, like I said, these little small businesses would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this technology because they understood how crucial it could be for them if they want to scale, if they want to be more efficient, more effective. The moral of the story is that we have forgotten how important our data is. We have forgotten how valuable our list of customers can be. Zillow knows how valuable it is. All of the big brands know how valuable all that data is. They're trying to get it from us all the time. They're trying to take more and more and more from us. That's what their whole business model is based on, is our clients' eyeballs. And so we need to capture our lists, keep them clean, make sure they're up to date, because then we can monetize our list ourselves. So this was a database management system that my dad worked on. And I remember he would take me down to their headquarters on the Saturday to change out the discs, change out the tape. So there'd be a drawer, he'd slide the drawer open, take the tape out, put a label on it, file it on a shelf. It's pretty wild how much effort it took and how easy it is now. Now I can access all of this on my phone. It's so much easier now, and yet we have forgotten just how valuable it is. So what's critical in a CRM? What do we need for automation? So again, there is a lot of power in a spreadsheet. So Excel, Google Sheets, those are really powerful tools. But I like to use the spreadsheet as the bottom end in the spectrum of organization. Spreadsheets are like the kind of the bare minimum organization that I would put in my business. And a spreadsheet doesn't really automate a lot. You can automate a lot out of a spreadsheet, but not emails, and you can't automate contacts, and you can't find things easily in a spreadsheet. It's not displayed well. It's not pretty to look at. So that's kind of the bottom end of the spectrum. And then on the other end, you have really, really powerful automated systems. So we have like AI, relational databases, machine learning algorithms, all kinds of crazy things. And this is how Realvolve is built. So we can store contacts, we can store properties, we can store transactions. We have a file database, a calendar database, and we connect all of those things together and then can fire automation based on all of these different objects. So each of these things is called an object. A contact or a person is an object, a property, a transaction. We can link all these things together. So when you go in to your Realvolve, you can look up a property or look up a transaction, and it'll tell you all the people that are connected to that, whether they're the a listing coordinator, an inspector, a loan officer, your client, your assistant. All of those people will be connected to that transaction. So engineering a process is extremely important. And now I want to show you some examples of engineering a process. But first, I just want to talk about this toy that my kids love to play with, and it's called the Caterpillar by Fisher-Price. And it's a really cool way to teach kids how to engineer a process, because they can put these little segments of the caterpillar together in a certain order, and it goes straight, turns left, blinks the lights, and they can take it apart and reorder it. And the goal for them is to get it from point A to point B across the floor, around the chair, etc. And so they have to try to put it together in the correct order, run the program, see where the caterpillar ends up, bring it back to the starting line, re-engineer it. That's what we've done for Realvolve, except it's not go left, go right. It's when is your appointment? What should you say during the appointment? What do you do if you get the appointment or don't get the appointment? What do you do if you get the listing or don't get the listing after the appointment? How should you follow up with them? So if you get the listing, there's now some marketing tasks that you have. There is now some all kinds of requirements and regulations and everything that you have to do. So photography, et cetera, all of that stuff can be engineered into a process, and you can mix and match those. We have a lot that you can start with out of the gate, and then customize them as you go. And then you can run those programs over and over. Every time you get a listing, you run the workflow. It's the same workflow, and it automatically adjusts itself or tailors itself based on the certain dates. So when you say this is the go live date on the listing, this is when it's active in the MLS, this is when it's expected to close, all of that kind of stuff. Realvolve then engineers this entire process around those key milestones. We call them milestone dates, and it keeps you organized. And it's like having an assistant right there with you to run the process alongside you all the time. Now that is kind of the advanced level. Having these workflows in place is the other end of the spectrum from the spreadsheet. So you can have the spreadsheet, or you can have those workflows where it can start doing a lot of work for you. The system comes alive. It can be emailing people on your behalf, putting things on your calendar, confirming things with your clients, all automatically. And it can be a total game changer. So within systems like Realvolve, we also have safety net. So think about in the middle somewhere is this ability to make sure people don't fall through the cracks. So that's the safety net concept. If I have a lead that comes in to, maybe I generated a lead from my website, from social media, I got a referral from somebody, we have some safety net functionality built in. We call it our contact cross section. It's a net. If I have not followed up with somebody that's in my database, if I say, I have this new lead that comes in from a Facebook campaign or a referral that comes in, if I don't follow up with that person in a week, then Realvolve is going to notify me that you need to call this person. So there's this base level safety net, but that's also true of my current clients and my past clients. So if I have an A client, somebody that's given me a referral, and I don't contact them for 90 days, Realvolve is going to say, hey, it's been 90 days since you talked to this person. They're a pretty good client. You need to reach out. So now I have this safety net that makes sure no one falls through the cracks. And then I also have this automation that every single person in my database, every single person on my list is being followed up with automatically. So what should your CRM be? So here's some rules of thumb. Design the system for an above average agent on an average day. So don't design your automation for you on your perfect day. Design it for you on your average day. So if you're somebody that likes to do a lot and on your average day, you like to make 10 phone calls or something like that, fantastic. Build it out so that you have 10 phone calls scheduled in a day, and we can help you with that. If you're somebody that struggles to get to the 10 calls, but you want to get to the 10 calls, then take that into consideration as well. Maybe you need extra reminders, you need extra nudges. Well, Realvolve can do that. We can put things on your calendar automatically for you. We can send you text messages reminding you, telling you who to call, when to call. There's all kinds of stuff that it can do. The CRM should hold each agent accountable to a base level of communication with your clients. That's the safety net aspect. So you and the agents on your team will be notified when somebody has not been followed up with according to that base level of follow-up. And then the team leader should be able to view how each team member is performing against the automatically prescribed follow-ups, against that safety net. So what I mean by that is, in a system like Realvolve, it's really easy for you to go in there and say, how many items are completed on time? What's past due? What's coming up later this week? There's really easy ways for a team leader to filter that kind of stuff. So I'm going to hide that for a second. Let me pause my screen share, and I want to ask you guys a question. So how much would you say an average client is worth to you over a 10-year period? I'd love to just hear, because I put together a little calculation based on some data that I got from NAR. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think your average client is worth to you over a 10-year period? And maybe it's your kind of above average client, your ideal client. What are they worth to you over a 10-year period in terms of dollars? Can you guys put that in the chat? $1 million? And this is going to be different, right? Depending on where you're at in the country, depending on how many referrals you're getting from clients, depends on how you run your business. So it depends on your average deal size and obviously your commission splits, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So Neil says 25K. Kay says $1 million. Let's see. Laura says 117. Jennifer says, if it's a repeat return client, that's priceless. Well, yeah, but there's also a dollar amount. What's the dollar amount that you think, Jennifer? Laura, 20K-ish. Yeah, what is the dollar amount? I mean, we love getting repeat clients. We love getting referrals. But why? What's that dollar amount that we think? Okay, Sue says about 100K, Patricia 75K. All right, so let me share with you guys my calculations. Karen says 40K. That's pretty close. It's along the lines of what I calculated here. So value of a client, this is what I calculated. So based on the average home price, this was back in 2015. So I need to update this with last year's data, which I don't have yet. But average home price, 361, you might be way above that. Average commission, 3%, average broker fee, 25%, average take home, $8,000 is what I put on there. So again, this is all estimations. You might be above or below this. Average age of a client, right now it's about 55 years old is the average person buying and selling home. Average years in a home is actually about 10 right now. It keeps increasing. The probability of a repeat client is, the national average is about 23% right now. So if you're above average, which I know a lot of you would be, if you are getting about 50% of your clients to come back and do business with you again, once every 10 years, then over your career, you should maybe get two referrals from that client and they'd be worth about $100,000 to you. So I've just doubled up this valuation from the 2 referrals. And if you do it right, if you get 50% repeat, if you get 2 referrals, that's about $100,000. So again, a lot of you might be double, triple, quadruple this. But I wanted to put it into perspective, because if you're doing things correctly and you keep everybody in a safety net, these clients can come back again and again. And in 5 years, 10 years, it should be way easier to be doubling your commission amount every 5 years if you're following all of the best practices here. Let's see. Yeah, Don says, will this be available to rewatch? Yeah, I'm recording this and I'll make sure to send it out to everybody after we get done here. So here's the trend, by the way. So the crazy thing is millennials, among millennials, which would be people that are about 38 this year, about 38 or younger, 39 or younger, depending on your definition, millennials are actually referring and repeating more than previous generations. And so you can see this trend going up and down over the years, but it's actually higher among those that are 37 or younger back in 2018. So the last column here is the highest because these are the younger people. So the reason why I showed this graph specifically is because a lot of people think, oh, well, the more tech savvy younger people that are more computer literate are more likely to go looking online to find their home. Yeah, they are actually. They are actually more likely to go looking at homes online, but they're actually less likely to find their real estate agent from an internet search. They're more likely to get a referral from their parents or from their mentors or from their friends than the previous generations were. So keep that in mind. It's not a good excuse to say, well, everything I do is just going to be all about online lead generation because that's the trend and that's the way the young people are going. Actually, if you can do a really good job taking care of people, the younger people are more likely to repeat and refer you. So I'm going to skip this a little bit. There's some really cool things that we do. And if anybody's interested, I'll send out a couple of emails explaining this, but we do some really cool things in calculating the value of your database, how valuable your contacts are to you, and how you're doing at staying in touch with your past clients. We actually give you a score on a scale of 1 to 10 for how well you follow up with your database. So it's a pretty cool little feature of Realvolve. And again, it ties into the safety net. So one of the concepts that we use that for is, if you'll see there in the bottom of the screen, the R factor prediction. We're going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, your R factor, or how well you're doing at staying in touch with people, we're giving this person about a 6. And so they have 313 contacts. They're getting about a 6 out of 10. We're predicting they're going to do about 36 transactions and about $546K in revenue. And we've had people tell us, man, I did over $1 million in GCI and you guys were within $5,000 of the prediction. So it can be pretty darn accurate. And what we try to teach is that you want to make sure that you're getting at least a 5% repeat and referral based on your total contacts. So if you have 200 people in your database, hopefully you're getting about 10 repeat and referral deals a year. If you have a list of 200 people and you're doing a good job following up, that's 10 deals right there, not leads, repeat and referral. Most people that we talk to have about 400 people in their database. So a lot of our new Realvolve customers are going to have somewhere between 300 and 500 people in their database that we help them import. Now, again, all it takes is some automatic follow-ups, a few phone calls a year. There's 20 deals if you've got 400 people in your database. That should be a baseline of 20 deals a year. And now you can do some things to increase that through some lead generation, through some proactive outreach, et cetera, et cetera. So again, getting back to this 4D automation, I want to show you some examples of what people are doing with our 4D automation, how they're using it, because it can be like a public transportation or something, like a train, where the city builds this infrastructure of a train track and they can just put people on that train over and over again. They don't have to relay the tracks every time. So it's the same thing with a workflow. in your business. You build the workflow one time. Now you can always adjust it, you can upgrade it, but for the most part, you can kind of just hit run, plug in a couple of dates, and the automation is going to run for you automatically. So here's one example of one kind of a thing that you can do with our workflows. So don't get too hung up on this very specific example. Just keep in mind the flexibility and the power that the system has built into it. So if I'm working a contract to close process for this property here, and it's time to get a home inspection, I'm going to drag and drop the home inspector onto the inspection slot. I'm going to set the date and time here at the bottom for the home inspection. And then Realvolve does its thing. So those were my two inputs. I told it who the inspector was and when the inspection was going to take place. And now Realvolve puts it on my calendar, automatically confirms it with everybody involved. And that could be up to 6 people at this point. For a lot of us, it's about 6 people. So it's like a transaction coordinator or our admin, us as the buyer's agent, our client and their spouse, the home inspector, and then the agent on the other end of the transaction, the listing agent. So all 6 of us need to know that that's the date and time of the inspection. Now the emails can be fired off from Realvolve automatically. The email comes from us, replies come back to us from the client. But again, all I did was say, here's the date and time, and there's the inspector. And then boom, it fires off all the confirmations. It reminds everybody a day before with an email or a text message or both. The date and time comes and goes of that inspection. Some people like their clients to be there for the inspection. Some people don't want their clients there for the inspection. All of that can be pre-written out, and you can help your clients understand what to expect and why you're doing this step. Again, that's all ahead of time. And then you use it every single time you have a home inspection. And then Realvolve would then wait 2 days, for example, after the inspection to remind you to double check that you got the report back from your inspector. You have an opportunity to say, yes, I got it, or no, I didn't. And if you say no, if you check a box in Realvolve that says, nope, don't have the inspection, it's going to fire off an email to the inspector politely requesting an update. And then if you check the box, yes, it goes on to the next step. So there's all kinds of really powerful things that you can do. Again, this is just one example, but think of every milestone, every inspection, every deadline. If you're rural, you've got all the septic and the well and all this other stuff that you might have to do. There's termite inspections, there's all kinds of stuff. And you can put all of those in as milestones. We have templates ready to go. We've thought of everything. We've worked with tens of thousands of real estate agents across North America, in Canada and the United States. We've worked with people in Australia and in Europe. And we basically have pretty much every single, 99.9% of all of the milestone dates that you would need, they're built into Realvolve. And we already have templates for the emails that go along with those milestones. And all you would have to do is read through it and say, yes, I like this, or you can edit a couple of little phrases here and there if you want to. So it's fully 100% customizable, but we also have some things ready to go out of the gate for you. So yeah, Kim says, can you go in and customize the email message? You sure can. You can customize pretty much everything. Some people work with a listing coordinator, a marketing coordinator, an admin, their personal assistant, and them. You can build all of those people into the process and be delegating things. And I'm going to show you that in just a second here. Because this is the framework that I wanted to talk about today. It's the automate, delegate, scale. And I promised you that I would show you some examples. That's what we're going to do right now. So I showed you the home inspector example. Now I want to show you how to automate, delegate, and scale. And by the way, I have some follow-ups that I'm going to be sending to you next week that dive even deeper into this automate, delegate, scale idea. I have ideas for how you can get this implemented in your business and run this very effectively to help you change the way that you're doing business and make things run more smoothly for you. So automate like Nate. Nate does about 180 homes a year, focuses on his customer service process. That's what their team specializes in. So nothing falls through the cracks. Everything is kind of automated and mapped out. When they bring new people on the team, they just have to follow along. There's scripts with every phone call. There's emails already written ahead of time, and they just have to follow along. And so they have all of these different automations built in. So they have a listing appointment automation. That's 18 activities, 2 emails, 3 texts, 3 calls. Again, they're all scripted out. They're all written ahead of time. Somebody new comes onto the team. All they have to do is read through this stuff to get familiar with what's actually happening. And then they can just hit run this workflow on this person, run this other workflow on that person. So it's listing pre-MLS, active MLS, seller open house, listing maintenance, price change, cancel expired listing. All of these things are thought of ahead of time, and they can just run them. So Delegate, like Treasure. So Treasure and her team do more than 350 homes a year. They're a fantastic team here in Colorado. Treasure focuses on her team culture and her process for her team. So they have a very small team, and yet they're able to do a ton of transactions. They're well above the average, like quadruple the average of the best because of how automated and how well thought out everything is. So they have these daily team routines, and it's all built on Realvolve. So here's an example of how Treasure is delegating. So when they have a buyer pending, there's a workflow that they run that has 116 different activities. Now, you might be thinking, 116 things for buyer pending? That's crazy. Well, that's how many things they've built in, and they continue to add things because they want their customer service level to be off the charts. The customers absolutely love working with her, and she's got a great reputation, and that's why they do so much business every year with a tiny team. So the transaction coordinator does 73 of those things. The buyer's agent does 30 of those things. The client care coordinator does 6, marketing coordinator 3, and Treasure herself does about 4 things on each of their buyer pending workflows, including a lot of times sending a personal bomb video saying congratulations. And she'll just get a text message that says, send a video to this person about this topic, and here's their phone number, here's their email. And so Realvolve just sends that to her, and she can go, boom. She knows the context of what she's doing and why she's doing it, and she can whip it out there in just a couple of minutes. So Jennifer says she's got to go. Reach out after 12. No problem, Jennifer. Thanks for joining, and we'll catch up with you later. So Treasure says being on a team requires a system that allows you to interact with multiple people within it, and Realvolve does just that with the amazing capabilities it offers. So it allows her to delegate lots of things, but she can still keep an eye into what's going on. Now, remember, I said this isn't just for teams, because you might be all of these people. You might be your own transaction coordinator, your own client care coordinator. But if you think about it in this context, if I had a team, what would I have this person do? What would I have that person do? You can have Realvolve do most of this. You can have Realvolve be sending off emails and text messages. Congratulations. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about that. Here's what's coming next. We can be educating our clients, keeping them in the loop all the time. What's the number one gripe that our clients have post-close? What could your real estate agent do better? What do they say? Anybody know? What could your real estate agent do better? What do people say about you? On average, generalizing across the country. Communication. Neil got it. Kay got it. David got it. More communication. I want to know what's going on. I need to hear from them more often. So how do you make sure to communicate with them more often and make them love you, to go above and beyond what they even imagined was possible with communication? Is you have a workflow like this that can be, then you can be a professional transaction coordinator, a professional client care coordinator, a professional marketing coordinator. You can be all of those things to those people because Realvolve is helping you stay on top of everything, and it's automatic. So scale like Krista. So Krista did 69 homes in her first year, and she's personally, not just her team, but personally sold well over 100 homes a year. And whether she has 2 leads a day or 50 per day, Realvolve follows up with all of them. And so she has this little listing appointment. This allows her to scale herself because, again, she's got this all built out, and some people on her team do some of it. And by the way, you can just hire somebody part-time. You can have a part-time runner that does some of this stuff for you. And you can have the orders to them or the instructions to them be automatic from the system. So what she does is creates a listing presentation package, sends an email 2 days before the appointment, a day before, a text to the agent reminding them about it, reminding them to call and confirm, and then reminding them to deliver a brochure. the listing appointment happens. If they do not walk out of there with a signed listing agreement, then the follow-up happens. If they do have a listing agreement, then they go to start the pre-list automation workflow. So there's all kinds of things that we can do to help us delegate things, to automate more things in our business, and help us scale ourselves, duplicate ourselves, replicate ourselves. Let's see. Teresa, where do our contacts go when we are no longer with your service? When we add our customers. So nothing happens with those people. We keep them stored for a little while in case you want to come back and use them. But we're not selling that information. We are not. It's stored very securely for about 12 months, and then it's deleted. So it's very secure. We're not selling your data. We're not using it. Nothing like that. We would never do that. So we're big proponents that real estate agents should own their own data. And these are your clients. You're the one with the relationship. We're less about brands and I'm sorry to say, but we really don't care about the national brands and other things like that. We really care about the individual agents that are actually the boots on the ground, the ones that are actually making it happen. And so everything we do favors the individual agents and the teams because that's kind of the bread and butter of the industry, in our opinion. Everybody else is kind of middlemen. They're trying to blood suck and take away from you and I. So we don't like those folks. All right. So what questions do you guys have about this kind of automation, this automate, delegate, scale? What have you run into in the past that have been roadblocks for you? What kind of training would you want? What kind of help would you want to be able to get started? And what do you think about my philosophy here of the delegate, the automate, delegate, scale? Does this make sense to you? Does it resonate? Can we get a copy of our database? Yes, you can. So we allow both importing and exporting at any time. You don't have to call us. You can go in and click a couple of buttons and export all of your data. And we export more than anybody that I'm aware of. A lot of systems, you can export some things and not others. In Realvolve, you can get all of your data out. What reports can be run? Again, there's so many different filters with the contacts and exports. You can run all kinds of reports. And we have a little add-on that goes into Google Sheets where you can click a button in Google Sheets and spit out all your transactions, all your listings. You can export all your contacts. You can see what stage they're in, et cetera, et cetera. You can also filter your list and edit it in bulk. There's all kinds of really cool things that you can do with Realvolve, and it's all about the data. So we want you to have as much access to your own data as humanly possible. Let's see, Kim says, I love this. My CRM is not automated at all, so it's tragically useless. That's what I mean, Kim. It's like a spreadsheet, right? So you can go in there and probably find things, but it might take you a little while. And if nothing's happening, then it's a glorified spreadsheet. It's on the bottom end of the spectrum. And that's okay. I mean, that's a great place to start. At least start with something. At least be storing your data. Keep track of your contacts. Keep their records up to date. At least do that. So real quick story based on this, Kim. I'm speaking directly to you here on this one. So I have a good friend named David. He's actually here in Denver. He's a mortgage loan officer. He started as a mortgage loan officer about 4 years ago now, maybe three, 4 years ago. Really good guy. I met him when I was doing all that sales training stuff. And I met him because he was a promoter for Tom Hopkins, author of How to Master the Art of Selling, New York Times bestseller for like 25 years or something like that. And it's in the top 20 every year for sales books on Amazon. So How to Master the Art of Selling. This guy, David, was a promoter. He was an event promoter for Tom Hopkins. He also did a little bit of speaking himself. And one day he decided, you know what? I don't want to travel around. I want to kind of put down my roots here. I've got a couple of small kids. I don't want to be traveling. I want to stay at home. And so he changed careers. Now, over the years, over his 20, 30-year career, he had already been training real estate agents all around the country. And he had trained thousands and thousands and thousands of real estate agents. He flew around knocking door to door, trying to build up these events for Tom Hopkins and for himself. And so tens of thousands of real estate agents in his career that he had relationships with, even if it was a brief interaction, he was collecting business cards and throwing them away. So when he started as a loan officer, he had no contacts. He started from nothing. And yet he had this 20-year career where he probably could have had a database full of thousands and thousands of real estate agents in Denver or in Colorado that he could have started reaching out to. But because he didn't keep records, he was starting from scratch. And just by sending a few emails, that probably would have been worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to him to be able to email and call those people directly. But alas, he lost it all. He threw it all away. Don't be like David. Save all of your clients' information. One day you will want to use it. Even if you don't know what you're going to do with it yet, make sure to keep good records. I promise you, you're going to use it one day. You're going to want to use it. Is there a human contact to help us set up training on video do-it-yourself? I'm glad you asked that, Kay, because all of the above. We have all kinds of different flavors. We've got videos, we have articles, we have training manuals. We have a really cool Ask Me or Ask Anything little button. So you can say, how do I? There's a little button in Realvolve that says, how do I? And you can type in plain English, like, how do I add a contact? And then there's like a little helper that points to things on the screen. Click here, click here. It follows you around where you're going and tells you exactly what to click on. And then of course, the top level is, and all of that I just mentioned is all included in your cost. So there's training videos, there's little seminars that you can join with a live person. There's small groups of people that join and ask questions once a week, but then you can also do one-on-one training with us. That's our kind of our advanced program. And we have lots of different flavors of that too, though. So we have a team of people. We started with purely transaction coordinators and real estate agents on that team a couple of years ago. We started hiring former agents that wanted to get back into the real estate industry, but didn't want to go full-blown real estate agent again. People who had moved, maybe they followed their husband for, one of them was in the military and moved around. One of them got out of the workforce while their kids were in school. And so we hired them and they built this program called the Navigator Program. And so now we have this amazing one-on-one program built by people who know the industry well. It's actually led right now by a former transaction coordinator for a very successful real estate team. So she was a very busy transaction coordinator, and now she helps real estate agents and teams automate their businesses. That's what she does for us full time. So we have employees like that that you can hire from us directly. And they know our system and they know the challenges of being in real estate. So it's a great program. Let's see. Can you speak briefly about lead gen, capture, and automated follow-up? Yeah. So broadly speaking, Neil, you can feed your leads in from pretty much any source. You can feed those in automatically into Realvolve. So if you're doing Facebook lead generation or pay-per-click lead generation or anything like that, we can feed those in from your website. Purchased leads can be fed in automatically, and we can start automated drip campaigns and calling plans and things like that dynamically. So depending on the source, we can have some workflow or some campaign that launches automatically. And then automated follow-up. Again, we do drips, text messages, and those can be scheduled automatically. So we have a system where you can mix and match a phone call reminder for you, automatic email, an email reminder for you to write a custom email, an automatic text or a reminder to write a text. So there's all kinds of things. We can even put in the scripts. So what questions should you be asking at this step? You can fill that out in the task and it saves it to the contact record. So that's a quick overview, Neil. I mean, we do so many amazing things there. It really just depends on where your leads are coming from now and if you really need help with lead generation. If you are really wanting to go heavy on like lead generation services, we have another product called Firepoint where we do managed lead generation in Facebook and in Google Ads. So that's something that you can ask about in the follow-ups as well if you're interested. You provide estimate timeline in hours to upload 500 clients and start the automation process. So Karen, that is a really good question. It's a common question that we get. And I'm not skirting the question. It really does depend on a lot of things, but I'll give you an example. So if I had 500 clients and they were organized properly in a spreadsheet, this is the major key. A lot of times we get data from our competitors' systems. So people come to us and they say, hey, I'm Karen. I've been using ABC CRM for a while now. Here's all my data. A lot of times the data is a mess. the rows and the columns are all jacked up, and sometimes that needs to be cleaned up. So assuming that your data isn't jacked up, if it's clean, then we can have it uploaded in a couple of minutes. It's really easy. And then if you just want some basic follow-up plans and basic automation, that will, I'll talk about that in a second, but if you sign up for a free trial today, we're going to give you a bunch of free content, and you could literally just read through that in maybe an hour or two. You know, read through the content and the follow-up plans, make sure you're good with it. Does it fit your style? Does it match what you want to say? And you could start it. So in 24 hours, you could be up and running and have pretty much everybody in your database on a follow-up plan. I wouldn't recommend jumping into it that quickly. I would want you to think through a few more things. We would want you to plan it out properly so that you're set up for success. But if you're really just concerned about speed, yeah, you could have things up and running in a day. Would like more information, Kay. Okay, yeah, Kay, I'll have somebody reach out to you. Thanks for sharing your number there. And folks, we're here to help you. So, I mean, like I said, if you have questions about what we're doing and what we can offer, if no is the answer at the end of the call, that's fine. No is a perfectly acceptable answer, but we would love to explore some solutions with you and just find out if we could potentially be a good fit for you and your business. And again, no is a perfectly acceptable answer, but don't just sit around wondering. Let's just have a quick conversation. Let's get through it. Even if you don't end up doing anything with us, we want you to be better informed at the end of the conversation, at the end of the interaction, so that you understand what options are out there. And maybe next time you want to talk to one of our competitors, you'll be better informed. So again, I want people to be helped. I want you to have an amazing career. I want you to have the job that you want. I want you to have the business that you want. I want you to work the number of hours and earn the income that you want. There's ways to do it. There's creative solutions for every problem that you're facing. And Realvolve can be a fantastic way to overcome obstacles that are getting in your way right now. If we can automate a lot of things, which we talked about during our time here, automating things in your business, delegating things either to the system or people on your team, and scale yourself and your time. Replicate yourself so that you can go to the next level. We always say, we want you to be able to be efficient with your things. That's all your tasks. Efficient with your things so that you can be effective with people. That's the name of the game. So that's what we covered. I want you to start a free trial. Go to realvolve.com and start a free trial. If you do that today, you're locking in the following. And by the way, no credit card required. All you got to do is put your email and some basic contact information in there on our homepage, and you're going to get a free 14-day trial of Realvolve. You don't have to do anything with it if you don't want to. But what happens when you do that, you're essentially raising your hand and saying, I want to learn more about Realvolve. And then again, we can reach out to you. We can do a little walkthrough, 30, 45 minutes, walk you through the system, talk to you about where you're getting your leads now. What automation do you have running now? What systems do you want to tie into? Are you somebody that wants to do it yourself? We can point you in the direction to learn everything yourself. Do you want extra help? We can quote you a price, all of that kind of good stuff. And you're locking in about $1,700 in bonuses for free. Typically, we only do this at the end of the month, and depending on the month. But right now, I just want you to go start a free trial, and we're going to throw in all these goodies. So there's the 2021 holiday email package. It's 15 customizable templates for the holidays that are happening at the end of this year. You're going to get 3 newsletters. So in October, November, and December, we're writing content for you that you can automatically send as is to your sphere of influence, your past clients, your database, whatever you want to call it. We're giving you access to our premium workflow suite. Again, there's workflows in there for pretty much everything: lead follow-up, past client follow-up, transactions, listings. There's all kinds of workflows in there that can help you in your business. We have a built-in dialer, so you can dial people directly from the CRM. We have a mobile app that you'll get access to for free. We'll help you import your contacts, and there's some onboarding that comes along with that package too. It's the Accelerate package. And then some workflow customization services and Ask Me Anything sessions that we do. So if you want to learn more about any of this stuff, if you have questions, go start that free trial. We'll reach out to you and answer any questions that you might have. Okay. Yeah, Max, I mean, we do have a few people overseas that are using it. For a while, we had a lot of people in Belize. We've had people in South America using it in the past. It just totally depends on how you want to use it. Everything is in English, obviously, but all of the email templates and text messages and all that kind of stuff can be edited and turned into Spanish or English or both, or other languages, depending on what you need there. So you can use it. We're primarily focused in the United States and Canada. That is probably 99% of all of our clients are in the United States and Canada. Okay, let's see. I need what an admin would do without the emotions. That's funny, Teresa. So the funny thing is, a lot of people use Realvolve for their admin because it helps their admins be more organized and it helps them coordinate with their admins. But I can't even tell you how many times people have told us, you know, I've seen ads for our competitors that say it's like a personal assistant. I think that's a bunch of hogwash. But I do think that Realvolve can be like an assistant. And I can prove it to you because of the number of automations that you can build in and the number of reminders that are built in, where you basically have a click, click, click to start a workflow. And then it's reminding you of everything. And once you start putting in those dates and watching that automation run, it is going to feel like you have a personal assistant. No question, hands down, the best automation tool in the real estate industry. And I would go toe to toe with anybody. Let's see, may I ask monthly overall cost of the program? Yeah, Kim, I mean, it ranges. I think we start at like $79 a month is kind of our base price. So again, but that price includes a lot. We're not going to nickel and dime you like some other people where they say, oh yeah, it's, you know, some people will say, yeah, it's $39 a month, but if you want the dialer, it's this. If you want to send this many emails or text messages, it's going to be more. We try not to nickel and dime. We're throwing a lot in there included in the price. So yeah, 74. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, it's $74 a month is the basic. So yeah, it really isn't expensive, especially when you consider all that it can do for you. It's only expensive if you don't use it. But even if all you did was some basic safety net stuff, which I talked about earlier, if you have that safety net set up, it pays for itself 10 times over. How do the comparisons be between Pipedrive, Monday.com? Those are options people have shared. So Lindsay, yeah, I mean, Pipedrive and Monday.com are great. I use Monday.com for some things, and I'm using Realvolve for other things. Monday.com isn't a full-blown CRM. It's like a project management tool. Realvolve is kind of both. Realvolve has project management, campaigns, and a CRM all built into one. If all you want is like task management, then Monday.com is great. I like it. But if you want a CRM built in with your task management, Realvolve is going to beat that any day of the week. It's really, if I want to be able to assign tasks to myself that relate to a specific client, it's really difficult to do that in Monday and very simple to do that in Realvolve. And so we're specifically built for residential real estate. We work for individuals and for teams. And you're going to see that that's the spin that we're putting on our tool is residential real estate, workflows, campaigns, task management, project management, all of the information about your clients stored and connected to their transactions, their history, their properties that they own, and it's all connected. Just like your brain would think about it, that's how we've built the system. And Monday.com, you'd have to, it'd be a little bit of a hacky solution. But again, I love the tool. It's just not really the same thing. It's not really the same category. Lindsay, I'm on board to learn more about Realvolve. Lindsay, we would love to have you. We'd love to at least first start and share some information about you. So thank you so much for joining. Susan says, I have another Zoom. Thank you. Just beginning in real estate. I like the work smart, not hard, future considerations. Thank you so much, Susan. CRM should be one of the first things you consider. If it's not us, at least come up with a plan for how you're going to store your contacts now. Because like I said, and you're going to be wanting to hit yourself if you don't do a good job of keeping good records right out of the gate. Even if you don't quite know what you're going to do with it yet, store everything in a very organized fashion. That's my advice. Thank you so much, everybody. Any other questions? I can stick around for another minute. I know we're over time here. I appreciate everybody. Does make sense. Admin without the, yeah. Let's see. is this a plugin? I mean, no, we're like a full-blown, we're a full-blown CRM. So we are our own homegrown, custom-built CRM for real estate. Now, we do integrate with a lot of things. One of the things we do is we integrate with Zapier, which allows us to plug into lots of different other tools. But we are a standalone system. It's a one-stop shop for storing all your contacts, properties, transactions, campaigns, all that kind of stuff. So look forward to speaking with you too, Kim. Thank you so much. Making sure I think I got all of these questions. There's the cost question I got to. Let's see. Yeah, so, okay, I see what you're saying, Neil. This is a standalone product. Can it plug into an existing WordPress site? So yes, what a lot of people do with their WordPress, they have an existing WordPress site. We don't have an IDX or anything like that built into Realvolve. Firepoint, our other product, which I didn't talk about at all today, Firepoint does have an IDX functionality with a website, lead generation, all that kind of stuff. Realvolve is primarily a true CRM that helps with the lead conversion, the customer service, and the past client follow-up. So if you have a WordPress site that's generating leads, you have forms on there, we can tie those in and feed those people in directly to the system. I hope that answers your question, Neil. And if not, just hit us up. We're going to send you some emails, just reply. So yeah, perfect. Looks like you're good. Any other questions? I think, like I said, I think I got to everything. I hope I didn't miss anybody's questions. If I did, shoot me an email, dale.warner@realvolve.com. If I missed a question and you had another question, or if you think of something new, or you want to share feedback, you can tell me I'm ugly. You can tell me I did a good job or a bad job, whatever you want to share with me. I'm always willing to gather your feedback and learn what I can do differently, and make sure that I'm helping educate people about what they should be doing and thinking about when they're talking about automation. It's my passion. I love real estate. I love automation, and I am here to help. So I would love to hear from you. Dale.warner@realvolve.com. Thank you again so much. And I'm going to be sending some follow-up emails. So look for those today and tomorrow. And again, reply to those and let me know if you want me to stop, leave you alone, answer questions, whatever it may be. And we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.